Welcome to our December build with Nova. This is part two of our biggest update, which we plan to release first week of January. Last week we started it off, and we'll kind of jump into the overview. But before we get into it, what is Build with Nova? Fundamentally, we're all building this platform, together. We're taking the feedback, we're working with the community, and we're really making sure that as we move forward with Nova, we're hitting those key points that those key friction points that people are currently experiencing as they're, building and scaling and succeeding with their drone programs. And so that's really where we step in. It's myself and Dan here today, which is kind of nice. It's been the first one that we've done together in a while.
I'm back.
Yeah, Dan's back.
Yeah, taking off the bench. We're back in action.
I'm the CEO and co-founder here, and Dan's our director of business development. You guys have probably spent quite a bit of time on the phone with us. As always, we're always available, so don't hesitate to give us a ring. Format and content. So typically this happens last Tuesday of every month. Holidays are coming up, so this one's happening a little bit sooner. Our next one will be January 27th, so that will be the last Tuesday. It's about 45 to 60 minutes. I think our last one maybe ran about 55. We're happy to stay late, chat with people if there's extra questions. But yeah, we're just really excited you guys all were able to make it. So in November, on November 25th, we did part one of our biggest release to date. And we showcased Color Finder version 2.0, new layers panel, 3 terrain map. Those guys are chomping at the bit to get into production. So like I said, we'll see them right away in January. And then today we're going to be looking at our on-controller live stream, real-time hotspot detection, and the upcoming pilot tracking designs that we should be releasing early next year. So we're really going to be focused on, how do we make a more seamless a more seamless experience between data collection, data processing, and product delivery. And real-time hotspots in the new on-controller app, it really, really drives that home. Dan, why don't you take it?
I'll take it away here. So what is the on-controller app? When we started out our live stream, we launched it in April of this past year. For those that are using it, you'll know that you currently have to kind of log into Nova and get a code. This code creates a secure link, but there's a bit of a friction point where, hey, when I'm in the field and I need to get that drone up stat over top of an incident, I also have to have a tablet or a computer to grab that. The on-controller app solves this and also builds the foundation for our real-time ortho and hotspot detection that we'll be showcasing really quickly. So I'm gonna actually jump into a live demo. So Rachel's going to help me get that screen kind of popped up here in a second. Rob's going to stop sharing the screen. And we should see the DJI controller, okay? So the on-controller app is still going to log in through the same method that you do now if you're using our live stream. So we're going to go into this cloud service button here above album. I'm then going to select open platforms. When I do that, it brings up a URL. So you'll have a pre-filled URL that you'll be able to put in. You only have to put it in once. And I'm going to press connect. This is then going to take me to a login page. So you're going to use your standard Nova login. So I'm going to press login here. That's going to save as well. You won't have to continuously put in that login information every single time. As long as you remain logged in, you haven't pressed log out, you'll be able to jump straight in to this workflow. So what you'll see is this actually brings up Nova. This brings up kind of a version of Nova where I can see my workspace. I can select different workspaces that I'm a part of. And I can also see all of my projects. So today I'm going to be creating a live stream in our Build with Nova December 16th project. But if I'm just getting to an incident, I can just as easily go plus project. I can title it and then start my stream from there. But we're going to jump back to this Build with Nova.
And hold on, Dan, can I jump in there? This is really important because it means that when we get to the field and we show up on an incident, we no longer have to get our laptop up. We can actually upload all of our data, whether that's photos for an orthomosaic, infrared data for a hotspot mission, or our live stream directly from the controller, meaning that it's just that much faster. So you no longer, to build these products, you no longer need that laptop step.
That's right. So you'll see here I have 3 options. We have the option to create an orthomosaic in real time. We have an option to create hotspots in real time. And we have an option to do a live stream. For this example, I'm just going to cover live stream. We'll be covering the hotspot generation in just a moment. So to start a live stream, I'm going to click live stream and press confirm. This is going to take me to kind of like my pre-mission page. Couple things here. One, I can quickly share it. So I can grab email groups or specific people that I want to send this link to right from the controller. I can decide to save the video or not, right? We will automatically record all of your live streams. This is great for post-incident training, review, response, and also helping with your tactical decisions in the next operational period. Once I'm ready to start my stream, I'm going to go start session. That's going to connect me over to this page. You'll see that the share link has been sent. I'm currently orange, waiting to connect. I'm now connected. Rob, why don't you pull up the Build with Nova preview screen share, and people can actually see this happen in real time. We're just going to get the screen share set up. Once I've connected to this page and you'll see that the drone is connected, I can now go back and enter my camera view. Okay, so what you're going to see on this page is I have my drone's controller here. I can see I'm in DJI Pilot, I'm in my main camera, and you can see in the top left here, this little cloud button is currently recording. Okay, so that's good. That means we're connected. Rob's going to click the live stream button in the top right here. And we're looking at our beautiful office here in rainy Victoria in the Pacific Northwest. Live streaming currently happening directly into the app straight from the controller. Like Rob said, I don't think we need to hark on it more, but this is going to be game changing for you guys wanting to start that stream right away when you get into the field. Don't worry about having to figure out a project. If you're just getting to an incident, create a new project. You can always go back into Nova on desktop or on your tablet later and organize that project into the proper spot. Super big deal. This is a great segue. We want to jump into hotspots now. Do you want
But before we do that, we're actually, so this out of the gate in January, we'll work on DJI drones, just like our current administration. But we really want to find out, we've been asking a ton of questions about which one should we do next, the Skydio, Autel, Freefly, Teal. There's a whole bunch of different drones out there. And so Rachel's actually going to put a poll, thank you, Dan, a poll into the chat. And if you guys just want to give us your thoughts on what we should be working on next in terms of live streaming, that would be really super helpful for helping to shape that decision. But again, just kind of going back to this, this really just means because you have the context of your projects, when you're starting that live stream, you're already saving, you're already sharing, and there's a map view for folks that are tuning in from their desktops already without even having to do anything.
Gus posted a question in the chat that I just want to answer while we're in this, and maybe Rob, you can actually navigate back to our slide deck. And Rachel, do you mind spotlighting us as well? Gus asked, will it resume a stream with spotty connection? Currently, because of live streams, when you lose a connection, you have to create a new one on the map and get a new code. So the fundamentals of the infrastructure behind our stream are going to be the same. If you lose connection, I actually think there's a time limit on that. And Gus, I'll get the exact number for it. It might be a minute or a few minutes, but as long as you keep that open, it should reconnect automatically. And we can see on my screen when I was sharing that little cloud button, if it's still active. Otherwise, you will have to go back in and create a new stream when that connection gets disconnected. We're working on trying to kind of like mitigate that impacts. I know that happens in the field all the time. You're on spotty Starlink, the satellites get out of constellation, and you're not in the right spot anymore. And so we're working on solving that. However, it's going to be the same infrastructure that we have now, just without having to go onto your computer to get that link. Okay. Another way to kind of get around that, because I know that sharing multiple links is kind of frustrating, especially if you're trying to get that out to an incident commander and he's getting 8 different emails. We do have our static links, right? We have our workspace-wide static link, which is just going to show any active stream coming from your drone at any point. A lot of clients, what I see is they take that URL from our settings page, they grab it, they create a QR code, and they actually add that as a sticker or a laminated piece of paper on top of their drone box or as part of their mobile command center. And then people can just scan that, grab the workspace-wide link, and then even if connection gets disconnected and you have to start a new link, the viewers are still running off that same link. And to just kind of follow up there, one of the things we're really looking at in the new year is kind of tightening up some of those UI visual elements and capability for the live stream.
And one of the things we're kind of talking about right now is creating a bit, because like a lot of folks don't want to log in, they want that anonymous view, but they also want kind of a structured way to look not only at the active streams that are happening, but any streams that happened in the past. So one of the things we're looking at, kind of similar to when you go to YouTube, is a per incident or per project kind of video dashboard. So you can kind of see all of the previous videos, all the new ones, scrub back and forth, that being kind of the main driver there. So we are working on ways to kind of make that a little bit more seamless.
That's right.
Okay, that's awesome. To everybody that's filled out the poll, thank you. So far it looks like Skydio is winning 29%.
Closely followed by Autel though, and also actually the most is desire to have a screen mirroring app for a VAD and Mini. This really helps us guys.
Oh yeah, that's actually
this is super big help.
This is a crazy big debate in the office here, so that's really nice to see. Okay, let's move on.
One more question. Sorry, Hal had a question about operational security. One way to create that security, Hal, and it might not work for your agency, but maybe it will, is you can actually create a passcode for that link. Okay, so what I see some clients do is they'll create a passcode for that incident. Maybe it's the last 4 digits of the incident number. Maybe it's today's date. So that way, when you go to do an incident later on, that same person that had access won't actually be able to access that same link unless they have the new password. So one kind of workaround for you there as well.
Okay.
Moving on
to. Oh, yeah, sure. We had to hit that one more time. Okay, first of all, I just want to give a big shout out to Cameron Logan. He's going to be joining us in the field, flying a drone on camera with all of us and running the first demonstration of real-time hotspots. So how this works, Cam's going to introduce himself, walk through what he's doing. And yeah, big shout out to Cam. Let's go here. Let's go live demo.
And we'll jump into the preview project to see that populate.
Not this one, this one. Okay, perfect. So just a little bit of background, just before I hand it over to Cam. This is actually the farm or the testing facility that we started doing all of our original hotspot tests. So it actually, a little bit of history with the company, and it's really kind of exciting to be moving it as far along as we are. But Cam, I'm going to pass it over to you. And anybody that's on that hasn't adjusted their view, you really want to go up into the top, hit view, and hit side-by-side speaker so that we can see Cam in action. And yeah,
perfect fire conditions today outside of Cam. Hey Cam, how you doing, man?
Good. It's Cam with Nova here. Just going to give you guys a live demonstration on our hotspot view today. Been working with the field teams for about 6 years now. We're just in the interior of BC. So beautiful snowy backdrop here at our testing facility. So kind of touch base off of what Dan and Robert are going to. So we're going to jump into our Pilot 2 app here. Then we're going to want to go into our cloud service. We're going to go into open platforms. We have our saved URL here. We're going to connect. We have our saved email and password. Log in. Perfect. Yeah. So as you can see here, we have our 3 different options, our orthomosaic, hotspot, and live stream. We're going to be jumping into hotspot today. We're going to just press confirm. As you can see, we're connected. Remote controller is going to give you a prompt and let you know media upload via this remote controller. So we'll jump back into pilot here. We're going to enter our camera view. We have our thermal going here. So today we're going to be flying the DJI Matrace M350. Going to be flying at 400 feet above ground level. And I'll take off here for you guys.
Cam, just provide a little bit of color. So we've got some hotspots set up there, right?
Yes. Got some hotspots set up. We made them just little aluminum tins with some charcoal briquettes in them. It's going to give you guys a very accurate representation of what hotspots look like.
Awesome, man. And you're currently connected via Starlink, is that right?
Yeah, we're connected via Starlink right now. So that's really important. We're going to have to always make sure we have our Starlink connection set up for all of this to work here.
Awesome, man. Okay, well, let's get up and flying. So just a little bit of color about what Cam's doing. So he's getting the drone up to 400 feet. And he's going to start gridding out a mapping mission. One important thing with the live hotspot detection, to actually have these photos upload to our cloud and populate on the screen, which you guys will see here in just a moment, in real time, we're not in an actual mapping mode. So this isn't an automated flight. This is and Cam has a 2-second timer, I believe. Cam,
Yeah,
is that
that's
right?
correct. I have a 2-second interval timer set. So it's just going to take an image every 2 seconds.
You'd have loved to be able to build this specifically for the mapping mission, but it's actually something that's a little out of our control. The way the DJI Cloud API works is that we're unable to upload images to the cloud during a mapping mission. And so I know a lot of people out there are, maybe manual flight curious. I would instill some confidence in you to get a little bit better at that. So that way you can really leverage this real-time tool. We're talking with DJI about kind of opening that up and seeing what we can do, because real-time orthos and real-time hotspots, has not been done before. So we're kind of on the bleeding edge, but manual flight is the key thing. And if you guys have any questions, jump on a call with Rob or I, or your account executives, or Jake, our customer success manager he met last month. And we're happy to kind of walk you guys through some tips and tricks on how to make sure that manual collection goes to plan.
And just to follow up, so it's not that those photos won't upload directly from the drone. They still will. It will just wait until the mapping mission is complete. So when you're returning home, those photos will start uploading. Whereas what we're going to see here today, using that 2-second interval shot, is every time one of those photos is captured, it's going to upload into Nova. So Dan and I have a Nova project open here. We've got the location where Cam is. And once Cam starts flying here, we're actually going to see photos start populating on the map, automatically, kind of ortho-rectifying. So getting that really accurate geospatial positioning. And then we're going to see the machine learning model pop those hotspots onto the map in real time. Cam, without further ado.
All right, let's go. I'm going to start taking my photos at 2-second intervals. And again, for everybody, I'm flying 400 feet above ground level and just manually flying a grid over our test site.
Rob and I are happy to answer some questions if you guys want to throw them into the chat while Cam kind of does this flight. Should take a couple minutes. And what we'll see, like Rob said, is those hotspots actually populating. So we're sitting here in Victoria. These guys are 400 miles, 600 kilometers away from us right now as the crow flies. And there we go. We're starting to see these photos populate. We see a hotspot jumping in there just next to that UAS launch icon. What we're going to see is that right now we're uploading, we're kind of seeing these individual photos come in and start to stack. Keep watching that. What you'll see is that they'll actually render into different tiles. Now, this is still in beta. This is the the third time that we've actually done this. We had our first successful launch of this just a couple of weeks ago, and the team's been working really hard. So we're still working out some kinks. We might not see the ortho populate today, but you can see those hotspots start to come in real time, which is super, super exciting.
And beyond that, we're not losing any of the accuracy that we currently get with Nova. So unlike when you're when you're flying the drone and looking for individual things or trying to like reference something off an image, this is not what we're seeing are not just flat images. These are ortho rectified images, meaning we're actually getting super accurate hotspot locations in real time. I think right now we have about a 10-second delay between when the photo is captured. By the time it goes up to Nova, we see it on the screen and the hotspot populates. But what this means is that whether this is hotspots or orthomosaics, by the time you're done flying, your projects are already done and ready to rock and roll. It's incredibly exciting. And it's probably, I don't know if you've touched on this yet, Dan, but it's probably the #1 feature we've had a request for from the beginning. And it's just taken us a lot of work to kind of get it across the line. But man, are we excited about it?
Yeah.
Seeing this real time is incredible.
I mean, I'll never forget, I think one of the first in-person client demos I did was with Orange County. And if Frank or Max are on the call, you'll remember this, but that was the first question you had when I was talking about hotspot detection. That's nearly 2 years ago now. And like Rob said, this is years in the making. And so we're really, really excited about this. I just want to answer a couple of questions. Peyton from Florida mentioned, hey, what speeds are we trying to maintain at 400 feet? Cam, can you touch on kind of roughly what speed? You can say in kilometers per hour, and I'll do my best to translate.
Yeah, I'm just staying roughly at about 20 kilometers an hour right now. And that way
Okay.
we're going to have nice, crisp photos, no blur in the imagery.
So that's about 12 miles an hour, everybody. Yes, those speeds will change, Peyton, as you fly a little bit lower at 200 or 300 feet. The best way, one thing that I always set up on the controller is you can add grid lines.
Yeah.
Right?
Really?
We're aiming for 65 to 80% forward and side overlap. and you can really dial that in with manual collection, matching your speed, seeing a photo hit those grid lines. So you pick a tree, boom, that tree's going to move down. You're seeing the camera, that little screen kind of freeze that happens when the camera takes the photo. You're seeing that happen while you're flying and matching your speed to it. How camera angle 90 degrees. Yeah, 90 degrees always for orthomosaic mapping and our hotspot mapping tool. Gus, this was kind of what we were talking about like a pre-flight, being able to upload this during a mapping mission or not. So this is manual because we can get the uploads going while the drone is flying. If you're not doing a manual and you're doing a mission flight, it'll collect all the photos, and then on the way back to your launch location, and while you land and maybe swap batteries, those photos will be uploading to the cloud. So Cam, I think maybe you can touch on this in a second, but you'll see that the photos are actually going from the drone to the controller, and then from the controller to the cloud. And so on the screen, you actually can see that. And once Cam lands, we'll kind of show that off. But you just want to make sure for those photos clear from the drone to the controller before you turn the drone off, and then clear from the controller to the cloud before you turn the controller off.
Yeah, and I can touch base a bit on that too there, Dan. We're actually, every single photo I've just captured is uploaded into the cloud. So now it's processing on Nova. That's going to alleviate us having to take all the photos off of our SD card and upload them. Like, it takes a long time to upload all your photos in, and this is going to be able to allow you to capture so much more hotspot data every night without needing to worry about doing extra computer work.
And so what we're seeing is Cam is actually still flying. He's coming to land the drone, and we've actually already placed all of the hotspots of the landscape. So you can already be creating that PDF map. You can already be getting this into the hands of firefighters, and the drone's not even on the ground yet. So we've combined the strengths of what Nova was, which was machine learning and really accurate photogrammetry. And we pulled that all into one real-time platform so that there's no longer any downtime or delay for those products.
Hal, I want to answer your question here about, can he see the area he's photographed? So he can see where his drone has flown. Richard above kind of mentioned you can set up an automated mission and then not automate it, but use those grid lines to help you fly. That's a really great way to know that you've actually done that. When we first started flying, and this was like 6 years ago, the automated missions were a little sketchy. And that's what we would do. We'd build out the grid path. We'd upload it into the controller or build it on the controller, and then we would just fly manually as fast as we could at 1,500 feet.
Yeah.
It was way faster because I think automated at the time, we could only fly maybe 20 miles an hour, but we wanted to get up to 30, 35 miles an hour when you're scanning that high. Alex, how is the RC communicating with Starlink or cell modem? So Cam has connected the controller via kind of the Wi-Fi. So if you drag down from the top, you'll see that Wi-Fi button or the internet. You select it, and he's just connected to the Starlink via that wireless connection.
Cam's actually got it on his screen right now, kind of showing. So you can just grab that, connect to the Starlink, and you're good to go. The other thing we can do here is you don't have to pick between hotspots or live stream or orthomosaics. You can actually run all three at the same time. So if you're like, hey, like we're out here, we're mapping a fire. I want a little bit of, I want this to not only function as a mapping tool, but I kind of want to get that ISR capability. You can switch between your cameras. You can be doing all three of those things at the same time. It's really nice from that perspective. It just depends a little bit on your bandwidth.
And Peyton had one more question about, do the photos get copied onto the hard drive / SD card as well as being uploaded to the cloud? Yes. Yes, they do. And so you'll have both options there. Of course, connection might be spotty. It might not work perfectly. You always have that backup to use Nova the traditional way.
Awesome.
Yeah, one last thing to note on that, using the live hotspot imagery, you have to have an SD card in the camera for it to be able to upload the photos into the cloud.
It's a good piece of information.
Yeah, thank you, Cam.
Thanks, Cam.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Cam, have you landed the drone?
I've landed the drone now. Everything uploaded before I even landed the drone.
Yeah, it's not only uploaded, but processed. We have some beautiful hotspots in the landscape. Really, really exciting, you guys. Guys, Cam, Nick, thanks so much for joining us out there. I know it's not the warmest. You guys rock, and thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. I do want to just pause maybe we could, if you guys want to raise your hand and ask a question verbally, I know typing into the chat can be a little bit cumbersome sometimes. So while we kind of navigate back to the slide deck to talk about, the last big feature, which is our pilot tracking, feel free to kind of raise your hand and we'll happily answer some questions. Okay.
Sweet.
Okay, let's jump in.
Okay, that was our live demo. That went off actually really smoothly. There's yeah, worked really well. So we'll be releasing that. And it's going to be free to use on any of your existing. So the live stream, the real-time orthomosaics, and the real-time hotspots will all be free to use in the new year. There's going to be a testing phase. It's not going to be the smoothest out the gate, but we expect that, right? And so not only will we be running some pretty intense tests between January 1st and March 31st, but we really encourage everybody here to do it too. If there's anything we can do, we'll be kind of like in January when we release it, we'll kind of connect and yeah, anybody that wants access to it can have it. And the more you fly and use it, and the more you find things that are maybe not quite perfect, the better it's going to be. So yeah,
that's right. And Alex, we'll have a video tutorial and workflow instructions up on the Learn Center. Jake's going to be taking that on when we launch this in beta come January. Okay, on to pilot tracking.
Okay, sweet. Pilot tracking. So we're going to be looking at some early prototypes. We've been working on this for a few months now. We have our UX, our user experience, that flow down. Now it's really just about kind of refining the visuals. And one of the things we've been talking a lot about, Dan, is kind of gamifying the way we think about pilot tracking and user stats and fleet management.
I'll say it even more bluntly, which is, we kind of look at the market. There's some phenomenal products out there that I'm sure a lot of you guys are using. And, our goal isn't to directly replicate. Our goal is to give you what you need to maintain a successful program in an environment that is enjoyable to work with. Yeah, I think that is really our goal with these kind of designs. So let's jump in. I'm excited to show you guys.
Okay. So what we're looking at here is going to be our drone overview page. So we're going to be able to see all of the drones, their status, kind of anything that we've assigned to the platform. From here, I can jump into these drones. So I'm going to click on Mavic 3E here. And it's actually going to take me to a much more in-depth page on that particular drone. So I'm going to be able to see total flights, total distance, total flight time, average flight time. I'm going to be able to look back at the calendar and see when it was last used. And I'm also going to be able to see which pilots have logged the most time on that platform. Down here, any files that we want to attach to that drone, whether it's an instruction manual, a maintenance record, anything like that. Yeah, exactly, are all in one place. I'm not going to click on these buttons, but we're going to be able to add maintenance details. We're going to be able to look at the history. We're really going to get a lot of insight into exactly what that drone looks like. Next, I'm going to jump to pilot. Now, this is before we actually get to this screen in real life. We'll see an overview of all of our pilots. But this is us digging into an individual pilot. So we can see all of the licenses that they have for Nova. We've got their contact information. We've also got a really strong, solid activity feed here. So we can see how often they're flying, how many hours. And then we get a little bit of data visualization down here to see their total flights, total hours, distance flown. And you can kind of see here, we'll actually be tracking both globally and at the workspace level where those users rank in terms of usage. So we'll have some badges, some way to kind of like be proud of the work that you're doing with your platform. And then again, just like which drones are we using the most frequently, what's our flight time, and any certifications that might be associated with that pilot or user.
Yeah, and I think Rob kind of touched on this around like maintenance records or certification records, right? A big thing is being alerted to that, right? Both as an individual, but also as the program manager. For any of you that are managing your UAS program, you want to see that global picture, and that's all going to be available within the pilot tracking kind of overview page that we're seeing here.
Our goal has been to keep it really super clean. So really easy to navigate, really easy to get to the information that you need, and then be able to summarize it and understand exactly what's been going on. You'll also be able to look into individual flights. So whether it's by drone or by pilot, you'll be able to dig in and see, exactly like you'll be able to run a playthrough. You'll be able to get the information of who is flying, how long they flew, Typically, I actually don't look at these pages unless we've crashed a drone, right? And so you're going to be able to see when those things kind of happen. You're going to be able to add notes. We're going to build out the stats page. And really, the other cool thing is we'll actually be able to then navigate to the project. So through a deep link, we'll be able to go directly from this particular flight to the project in Nova, adding some context for what exactly somebody was doing up there. So if you're like, hey, this is a cool flight, I want to see the product that they developed, you'll be able to navigate from here to the project and see it really quickly.
This will also be kind of coming into effect at the same time that we'll be launching kind of our global nav. So we don't have any design for it as part of this prototype, but you'll see on the left-hand side, there's a little globe. So that actually, as a user, as an admin, you'll be able to select that, see all of your drones that are currently active in space, and you'll be able to see the projects that they're on. So you'll be able to select that project, jump directly to it.
Should we go off script for a second?
Let's go off script and maybe show that.
Okay, just give me a second here, folks. I'm just going to pull it up.
And I just really want to touch on this as part of the pilot tracking. You know, every program needs different things out of it. I know that there's like the bare minimums that Transport Canada or the FAA require you to keep track of. I really encourage you, you know, we don't want to make it up, right? We've looked at the competition, we've looked at the other platforms out there, and what we would much prefer is, hey, can you guys actually in the follow-up or in an email to me or Rob, tell us exactly what you need to see out of flight tracking and pilot tracking for you to be able to use this product efficiently.
Okay, let me go back. I'm just going to share my screen again, you guys. Let's go share. Whoa, we have almost 80 participants at this point. That's awesome. Let's jump up here. Okay, so this is going to be the new global nav, and we'll see this in kind of our roadmap coming up, but we're going to add this new global nav. Currently in Nova, when we get there, and I'll just jump into this preview environment, when I'm in that global nav, this is what I see. But what we're going to move to in the new year is something that looks a little bit more like this. And, you know, we still have our, you know, the classic options. We'll still be able to navigate folders and projects. We'll still be able to get down to all, you know, all of the, you know, the drones in our organization. But notably, what we have here is an option where I can now click on this global nav, and I'll not only see all of the active live streams and projects that are happening in real time, but I'll get a full sense. So let's say, you know, right now we're in Utah here. I get a full sense of my entire, you know, workspace footprint. So whatever we selected, and I'll be able to see all of the active drones in my organization, all of the active projects, and I'll be able to navigate to those projects from here. So when let's say I want to go check out this incident here, I can jump in here, and then I can not only see the drone, but I can see everything that's, you know, going on that map layer. And if it's like, hey, actually, I want to get back up here, I want to go check out this fire, I'll be able to do that too. So we're just adding another way to kind of spatially visualize where we're operating and what we're doing while we're operating.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay, let's get back to the script.
All scripts way more fun.
Way more fun. Okay, let's move through this. Hit next.
This is how I do it.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Q1 roadmap. We're notifications and commenting as well as chain of custody. So really logging all of the actions that happen within the platform by any user, being able to communicate asynchronously with any user on the platform. So being able to drop, you know, a message on a map, have somebody respond later on. We're also looking at the on-controller app beta. So this is going to be rolling out first week of January, which comes along with real-time hotspots and orthomosaics. And again, no extra charge. Would love it if you guys got out there and used it. It's going to mean a lot to the development and growth of the platform. Then as we move in a little bit later, kind of thinking about February, we're going to start seeing some things come down the pipe around pilot and fleet tracking, user profile, Sky.
Maybe an adjustment to this.
Yeah,
maybe feedback we got today. It's
Skydio Autel live streaming.
really,
yeah. A really fast orthomosaic option for kind of that non-live processing.
We touch on that for a second. So,
Please.
You know, the back-end infrastructure for what we're using for real-time hotspots and orthos is really this, you know, photogrammetry engine that's been in development for the last 2 years. That's now going to come into production as well. So even if you're not doing a live flight you're getting that SD card off the drone and plugging it in, we're going to see your efficiency, your time to process those jobs decrease 5 to 10x. And so
Yeah.
it'll be really, really powerful.
As those photos are actually uploading, we'll see them stitch. Rather than uploading them and then processing them, we'll actually see them like processing as they're uploading. It's really exciting. And then a big one, and one that the whole team is just dying for, is more points, lines, and polygon functionality. So really revisiting that toolbox, how we interact with it, how creative we can be with those maps. We're seeing some really amazing PDF maps come through the platform these days, and really just like enabling that and just like helping folks like convey that information more effectively. And then early Q2, we're going to see new global navigation. Guys, to be honest, I think a lot of this stuff is kind of interchangeable. There's a lot of things that depend on other things, but new global navigation, early Q2, spatial asset tracking, and more on the workspace stats dashboard. So yeah, this is kind of what we got going.
The one thing I want to mention, specifically about live streaming, this is now becoming, by far and away the most used tool in the app by a lot of our users. I just want to let you know, our goal in 2026 is to make sure that no matter what drone you are flying with, there's a live streaming solution with Nova. And
Absolutely.
so that's going to come in piecemeal as we add, Skydio through their cloud API, Autel through their cloud API, a screen mirroring app to support Avadas or Minis. And so, your patience, your feedback's super valuable, but I just want to make sure that everybody's fully aware that that is a major priority for the team in 2026.
Yeah, that like if by Q3 next year, we should be fully supporting every drone. If you've been like, I've got this crazy thing that I just built, we should be able to support it. Okay.
I can talk a little bit about
Yeah,
schedule. Busy. Yeah, we just got back from the IAFC Tech Summit in Texas. It was great to see some clients from Austin Fire and Scappoose. Really great event. For those that are in, the structural fire space, it is by far and away the best tech conference that you can go to. Every single chief, every single person there is focused on delivering new tech for their departments. And so I just want to, send a shout out to the guys that were down there. It was great to catch up.
And actually, if you think you know of a better one, please let us know.
That's right. SJ Docs, what is this? This is the San Joaquin Drone Operations Group, I believe. So Liam Godfrey, our account executive that covers California, is going to be heading down to San Joaquin Valley. We got an invite from the team over at French Camp McKinley and San Joaquin Emergency Management. He's heading down on Friday to go and kind of work with them. As we move into January, super stacked schedule here. So Aubrey and Davis are going to be at Florida Fire and EMS. We've got the National Association of Fire Chiefs, which I'll be at down in Miramar Beach. So looking forward to seeing some folks from the stateside. Nick, our county executive for the Southwest, including Colorado, is going to be at county sheriffs in Denver, followed directly by Utah Winter Fire School. Okay, so kind of covering some of those Western states. And then Rob and I have the privilege of heading back to Portland, Maine for the NFFPC winter meeting, which is the Northeast Firefighting or Forest Fire Prevention Fire Protection Compact. Something like that. In Portland, Maine. Into February, we've got the Alabama Fire Chiefs Winter Conference, which Aubrey will be presenting at. And, we're actually heading to the Guardians First Nation Public Safety Summit in Oklahoma. I've heard really amazing things about this summit. I think they have over 600 people. And so looking forward to seeing some of you there if you're going to be attending.
Yeah, and this is likely, just this morning we were looking at another one we're probably going to add. This is going to change and grow a little bit. If you have any recommendations, we want to know, we want to go. So don't hesitate.
Couple questions to answer in the chat, actually, while you guys kind of raise your hand or throw them in. So Mark, you asked about live hotspots directly into CalTopo and SAR Topo. Definitely something that we can kind of dig into. We've actually talked to the CalTopo SAR Topo team about that kind of API integration, and sending over KML files should be pretty simple. So that's definitely on our list of integrations. We're not putting them into the roadmap. These are things that we just know we need to build on the back end. So making refinements to the Esri integration is a big topic right now, making refinements and adding in that SAR Topo and CalTopo. So thank you for the +1 on that. Robert asks, is there an API that we can feed locations of vehicles into Nova? It's a great question. We've actually been talking with the department in Southern California, Sean over at Ventura, about feeding some of this real-time data into our live stream. So Robert, let's stay in touch on this because it's really high up on our list of things to explore. Both being able to have CAD data actually overlaid almost like an augmented reality, overlaid in that live stream. So you're maybe getting it both there as well as your incident command board and tablet command or first do, but then also having that asset tracking, the vehicle tracking.
Yeah, and so the way we're thinking about like fleet management and pilot tracking is definitely like at the outset, it's going to support drones, but we're really building it in a way that's going to be flexible so that as we want to add different types of assets or resources, we can track those as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to get too far ahead of my ski tips here, but we're definitely looking forward to the future here.
Emmy, thanks for the +1 on the Ignite conference. We are going to be there. So we will be sending a contingent down. I've heard it's a great event. Will we be able to upload a CSV or other GPS tracks from Ryan into either a project or fleet manager? Upload a CSV or other GPS tracks. That's a good question. Let's add it to the list. I don't know if it was currently in scope, Ryan, but this is why you're here. Thanks, man. I'll add that to our feedback request right now. And Hal, yeah, Lita, I've heard amazing things. I think we're planning on attending a few. I got to kind of look at the schedule. There's like a ton of them based on the regions. If you have a specific one that you recommend, please let us know.
Yes, we are.
Dennis, yeah, great question. Good seeing you last week, man. Yes, if we go back to the pilot tracking, we will be adding in pre-flight checklists, airspace NOTAMs, etc. into Nova. I know that that's a big thing that people want to be part of it. We're kind of working through where that's going to live, whether that's going to be like a QR code and you can do it on your phone really quick, or whether it'll actually be on the direct controller. But Rob just brought up the designs here. You can see that checklists is below. And we're going to be using some smart logic for this, right? So, hey, where was the checklist made by who? So it'll automatically connect to your flight as well. For any of those that, use air data, that's something that they've really ironed out and something that we've drawn inspiration from.
I actually have a question for the audience, because it's kind of one of those things, everybody's talking about AI these days and ways to integrate it. And we've been really careful to just like lean on like those elements of machine learning and AI that we're really good at. But one of the things that we've slowly started to like play around with and bat the idea around here in the office is having, and I know you don't interact with it very much, so it might not be the right place for it, but we're thinking about having an AI tool that will just generate your forms for you. So you can, for example, be like, please generate a Part 107 checklist, or please generate a maintenance checklist, or walkthrough, and just be able to click that and then edit it once that's developed. Is that of interest to anybody? This is a great time to.
While you guys do that, I'll just answer Mitch's question there about automatically syncing. Yes, Mitch, those will be automatically synced. So you'll connect the DJI drone to Nova, and we'll be able to pull those flight logs automatically.
Oh, wow. Look, this AI checklist thing is getting some.
Wow.
Guys, this is what I needed to hear.
I'm currently eating my words. Just so everybody knows, this is, I thought you guys had my back on this one. Holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah.
Rob is right, as per usual.
I don't think Dan's ever said that before in his life. So
no, soak it up, man. It'll be the last one for this year and next.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot about like manufacturers. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that because Peyton was asking about, adding in the manufacturer guideline.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the bot. Huge fan of the bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great, Matt. It was really great to see you. Thanks, man.
Hey, but Gus, there's my point, Gus. It's it's not like we're generating these all the time.
I know it's not, but we're just trying to find a way to like, at least the way I'm thinking about it is to make checklists a little bit less daunting. They're kind of a pain in the ass. And also if you decide to move over to this pilot tracking, it's just as seamless as possible to take, what you already have and move it into our platform. It's Steve. Thanks, man. He's supporting you there.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know what a frat is, but
Cole, can you describe frat? And we're happy to let you jump on the mic here.
Great presentation, guys. I'm super stoked for the stuff you're doing. Yeah, so in the like federal like interagency stuff and a lot of the states use a flight risk assessment tool. Sometimes they call it a GAR, like green, amber, red. So before each mission, you like have 5 categories, and one's mission complexity, one's airspace coordination, one's rest and fatigue, and you give it a score, and then based on that score it says you're good or you need to mitigate or whatever. They're becoming a lot more required, so it's very similar to a checklist with a calculator, but we have to do those. So just curious.
Dan is putting it into the feature request channel as we speak. I don't see why. That's a great idea.
Yeah, thanks, Cole. Okay, gang. Well, we'll hang on for a few minutes. I just want to thank everybody for being here, and thank the team for helping to put this on. This was by far probably the most complex, navigating all these different screens and cameras, but I think it went off without a hitch. We're getting a little bit better at this. So thank you all for being here. We'll see you in the new year. Happy holidays to you and your families. We've got that form coming out when you guys log out. Please fill that in with any ideas, right? Like, I was talking to a client this morning, and like all I want is for people to comment. If my entire day was you guys just talking to me on the phone about what you guys wanted to see in the app, like I feel good. I feel good when I go home. So please do call. We're always here to support, and thanks so much for showing up.
Yeah, this is really great, you guys. Thank you.